Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Create Something Awesome Today podcast. This is your host, Roberto Blake of RobertoBlake.com, helping you create something awesome today. Today, I have a special guest who is also our featured awesome creator today. We have JON from Front Page Tech, the best YouTube tech channel that you may not have yet heard of. And
I'll take it.
Yeah, and there's a very interesting story behind why JON is going to be here with me doing the podcast. We're also recording a video of this that I'm going to incorporate into my YouTube channel, youtube.com/RobertoBlake2. And so we're going to be talking about a few things. We're going to actually talk about the real business behind YouTube. I'm thinking of maybe even titling this how small YouTube channels make big money, because that is a big part of this conversation, is that if you approach YouTube like a real business from day one, you don't have to wait till you have a silver or gold play button to make real money. So I'm going to explain to you how a very relatively small channel that hasn't even crossed 100,000 subscribers blew up recently in the last couple of months, more than doubled their subscriber base from about 22,000 to over 50,000 and growing, is going to be catching up to me in no time, and how that channel is doing well over very healthy, well over six figures in revenue on YouTube. So we're going to jump into that, but I'm going to let JON tell you a little bit about his story, about his crew, and about his channel. So JON, why don't you take it away, since you're my awesome creator of the day?
Dude, this is how you know you made it. This is how you know I'm in a Roberto Blake video. This is all I've ever wanted. The funny thing about
the podcast, you are literally only the second or third guest to ever be on the podcast.
Great, I'll take it. So the best thing about this is I met Roberto at VidCon 2 years ago, but I say I met him because he didn't know he was meeting me. He was trying to film a panel with other people, and I'm just sitting there, and Roberto sits next to me with his camera and his bags and everything, and I'm just like, oh my God, that's Roberto Blake. Do I say anything? Do I just sit here? Do I be quiet? He's sitting right next to me. I should say something. It's Roberto Blake. So I say hi, and he's like, hey man, that's great. You watch my channel? I'm like, I love your channel. And I took a selfie with him and I posted it on Twitter. And then I had like a medium Twitter following, and people started liking and favoriting, and he turned to me and he's like, okay, so who are you? And then since that moment, like we've just known each other and been friends. We've been to a couple of other events together. We had Thai food together.
Yep.
I'm not a fan of Thai food, but I did it for Roberto Blake.
It turned out okay though, right?
Yeah, it was definitely, it was spicy. It was I'm not on Roberto's level, I don't think.
I'm all about the spicy
I was
food.
punished for the next couple of days for sure.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, quickest way to worm your way into my heart, spicy food.
Well, yeah, that's how that happened. He was just like, hey, you want to go to dinner? I'm like, sure. He's like, we're going to go to Thai food. You ever had Thai food? I'm like,
yeah.
No, but I'm going to today.
It was us, and it was another vlogger. It was Christina Red.
Christina Red. Yep. So Front Page Tech, the whole thing we're talking about here. I started it in 2013, like January 2013.
Oh, funny. I started doing serious YouTube in 2013 too.
Oh, well, look at that. So it wasn't an accident. Like I've had multiple other YouTube channels. Some of them maybe had a decent content on it, but they still never went anywhere. And I was doing it throughout high school and stuff. So, and at the time it was really foreign. Like now I feel like if you're in high school and you have a YouTube channel, it's cool. At the time it was really foreign. Even to me, I just liked making stuff. So I saw the opportunity. I wanted to make, I always loved tech stuff, and I wanted to make a tech channel, but even younger JON, I was 18 or 19 at the time, and I saw the opportunity where tech is just not, it wasn't entertaining for me at the time. Like I wanted to talk about tech, specifically tech news, because you don't have to be tech savvy to get the news. We all have consumer tech. We all carry on smartphones every day. So I think we should all know what's going on. So I took that opportunity and I made tech fun, because the value is not in the news. You can get news in a tweet, through a headline on some article somewhere. I wanted the value of my show to be the humor and my personality. Plus, I always thought, especially with someone like Roberto Blake, hammering home personal branding, if someone cares about me and my personality, it doesn't matter what I do from here on out. If Front Page Tech lives or dies, like I want people to enjoy being around me and watching me.
Not to mention the skills you would pick up.
Yeah, so that's what we did. We just made a show that we saw an opportunity for, to make tech news fun. Been doing it for 5 years now. which is shocking because it's just now, I'm just now to a point where I think I'm actually proud of the content, which is crazy because I think just the people creating are we're our strongest critics, right? So
Yeah.
like I produce something and for the longest time I'm like, oh God, that's awful. And I would not put stuff out because I thought it was awful. And I just learned to accept it. In fact, a lot of it, and I'm praising Roberto here a lot. This dude helped validate a lot of what I was thinking and change my mindset moving forward with what we were doing. And that was the craziest thing, is that I even when I wasn't happy about the content, we just put it out to get experiences as and I'm just now 5 years in. I think I'm happy with what we're making. Now I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'm pretty good at this.
You
Just
brought
now.
up that I helped specifically change your mindset on some things, and there were some challenges because, 5 years on YouTube to quote unquote, as some people would say, languish in obscurity. That's rough. I know people who quit after 5 months of not feeling like
Yeah.
they get the views or the subscribers that they think they deserve or feel entitled to. And I remember like Swoozy and Philip DeFranco saying like how for 5 years they struggled and no one knew who they were. Like Philip DeFranco 5 years into YouTube
I hear that
was
number a lot.
he was getting ready to quit, right? Because at the time, he started YouTube back in the early days. So like he was getting ready to quit after doing it for like 5 years or plus. And then they invited him to the partner program and he could start making ad revenue. Like the adpocalypse, I'm sensitive to people who the adpocalypse is a real thing for them and it's hurting their revenue and their channel. I am. But remember this, the ad platform didn't open up the partner program to everybody. It was only for a few chosen ones until 2013. Just 4 years ago, when you and I got started, was when the ad revenue became available to everyone in the first place. No one was entitled to that. That was only for selected creators that YouTube deemed worthy. And for a long time, Philip DeFranco was not in that category for a long time. And he was on the verge of quitting and recommitting to college. And then he gets a call and gets invited to that, and it changes everything for him. And then about a year or two later, he gets one of the grants to be a funded channel from their YouTube One Channel initiative, I believe it was what it was called at the time. So remember that like big creators that we admire today, 5 years of either no money or no recognition or nothing really happening before everything changes for them. And even though you're a smaller channel, that's what the story of you and your team blowing up now and being one of the rising tech channels out there. Like you guys and Andrew Edwards, like I think you guys are crushing it right now.
Well, and I've heard you talk about it specifically. I've heard Tim talk about it, Tim Schmoyer. And this is we're talking years, like, and I've kept this in my mind for years, people, years. The dip. Everyone talks about quitting and I've been doing this so long and I'm not seeing any results. The dip is what I kept in my mind throughout all these years. Was at first with anything you do, it doesn't have to be a YouTube channel. It could be anything you're trying to do. At first, you see some instant results, and that's easy because you're working with nothing. It's either nothing or like 10 people when we're talking about YouTube. And that's instant results, and that's great. We're like, oh, I'm growing. But then you hit a plateau, you hit that dip where that is like prime time quit space. Like that's where everyone drops out, and the people that you see become successful are the people that made it through the dip. I would say 90% of creators go through that dip where it's just like nothing's happening. They're growing. Maybe they're plateauing. Maybe they're even declining. And that's when a lot of them just like, well, maybe this isn't going to work out. And who knows how long the dip lasts. All I can say is like, now I am a complete firm believer that there is another side of that dip, because we were in the dip for years. Like I'm no joke. I'm not joking you. And it kind of hurts me to admit this, but like a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, I was genuinely thinking about quitting, like front page tech. I was genuinely thinking about not doing it anymore.
And then everything changed. And by the way, you should have called me before you ever thought about quitting. But like,
yeah, I was pretty close. And it wasn't just like, I had the wrong mindset about it too, Roberto. It was like, I wasn't quitting because I was upset because not enough people were seeing me. I had this mindset this whole time where I was like, you know what? We make really good stuff. We just need people to see it. And I should have held on to that, but then that sort of blurred, and I started thinking maybe a lot of people have seen me, because like if you ask any of the big tech YouTubers, they know who I am. I go to all the events. I've met a lot of the fans, and I've done a lot for having a small channel. No joke, last month we had 22,000 subscribers. And that's
when I met you, you guys had like what, 10K?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe less. I don't know. But like it was just I had gotten the mindset had gone away where I was like, more people just need to see us, and I started to really genuinely think maybe a lot of people have seen us and they just don't care. Like maybe the content isn't there, maybe it's not what people really want. And that was the wrong mindset, obviously, but that's what, after 5 years of doing stuff, I had in my head, well, a lot of people have to know who I am. A lot of people have to have seen it. I'm friends with a lot of big tech YouTubers. And it just, I was putting the blame on myself. Like maybe the content isn't good enough. And I'm not in the YouTube game to just adapt and change and just be successful on YouTube. That was never, I wasn't going to completely change my content and change the channel just to
fit the algorithm or to fit the culture, the viewing culture of YouTube.
Right. I loved my show. I understood the value of the show. I understood my worth. I wanted that show to do well. So when that show wasn't doing well, I wasn't doing well as a person. And that might sound crazy, but like Front Page Tech has been like, tech is completely oversaturated. Like on YouTube, any 13-year-old with a webcam is reviewing products, and the market is completely oversaturated. And I hear a lot of people, and in fact, a lot of people in my audience ask, well, since it's oversaturated, and I've said this a lot, I'm not going to call out any names. I'm not trying to start anything.
No, you're fine.
A lot of the big tech YouTubers sort of do the same thing. They sound the same. It all sort of kind of just blends together.
It becomes formulaic. Like, if you're watching this one, you might as well have just watched this one. What's the differential?
They're all saying the same thing. And like, so my audience was like, well, I want to start a YouTube channel, or I have a tech channel. Should I quit? And then that's when it put it in perspective. And I was like, well, no, that's not what I'm saying. Because to me, the fact that either the big guys all sound the same, or everyone else is doing the same thing and doing reviews just to have a tech channel, that's an even bigger opportunity for someone to come in and steal the thunder because they did something differently.
When something reaches a saturation point, it also reaches the point of sameness. And when you have sameness, the marketplace is ripe for disruption. And I think that's something that you and I as entrepreneurs understand. We understand that as creators, as people who are artistic. A lot of people don't realize, like, there's a reason that you are the awesome creator of the day. It's not just because you're a YouTube creator. It's because even though you're doing tech, which most people would think isn't the most creative thing in the world, you took a unique and creative approach to presenting tech to the masses in a way that they can understand without being a super genius or being a total geek.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I wanted to do. And that's why it wasn't just a YouTube channel to me. It was like, I had a vision for this show. I know it's unique. I know it's totally different. So the fact that no one was latching onto it, I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm alienating the audience that we did have, because one thing that I really am proud of with my show is like, the people that watch it stick. Like, people have watched this show for years and years and have been completely loyal. The community has always been amazing. So I don't want to sound like ungrateful for that, but it's just like, it's 5 years of work, and I was in the wrong mindset. And because the show that I worked on that I knew had value wasn't reaching the right people.
You got me in one video.
I thought it was my fault.
You got me in one video. And if YouTube or nothing or social media, if I never ran across your stuff in Twitter or Facebook, like, the odds are I would have never run across your thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the reality. You happen to meet me at VidCon. You got me on day one, dude. Like, you got me on day one. Like, you got me to watch a video. I enjoyed the video. I stuck around, like, and have been around, and like, and have continued to like share and retweet and so on, because you're right. You do good content and it's different. Like, and again, I'm not afraid to say it. Like, what you do is, and you're just being really modest. What you do, and there's a different value. I love Marquez Brownlee. I love MKBHD. But
We
your
all-
video is a completely different end of the spectrum from his video, and I'm happy to watch both of you.
Yeah.
Your thing is very different. When you talk about a product, if you talk about the new iPhone, I have the new iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, just like you, and we're both not fans of the iPhone 10. Sorry.
Yeah.
But when I watch,
not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Hashtag sorry, not sorry, right? So when this is my hashtag gang symbol, I guess. But the for the homies, quote unquote. I can actually get away with using that ironically.
You can.
Yeah, apparently. I'll give you permission. I'll sign off on that. I'll give you permission.
Okay.
Am I not merciful? I'm making you take on camera. I love it. So no. I like.
Don't make me laugh. I'm sick.
Right. So and yet you're still generously doing this episode of the show. But I love that I can go and I can watch everything Apple Pro and then watch you do a video covering the same thing, and it'll be the complete opposite end of the spectrum.
Oh, I bet it will.
I tech reviewers are great and I love them. I love all of them. Average consumer. You know what I love about you and Justine? I have more fun when I watch your videos and Justine's videos.
That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. So that's the different value. If you want to, you will make tech fun again. And I love that. And I dig that because that's creative. That's different. So anything that you think is saturated, it's like when I sometimes give the people who want to do gaming channels a hard time. It's like, you're going to do a Let's Play channel. How are you different than the 100,000 other people want to do a Let's Play channel? How about you do something different? How about go out there and collect old retro gaming devices so that I actually will give a crap about it as a 33-year-old. As a 33-year-old, my worst experiences in my childhood were watching other people play video games while waiting my turn.
Yeah. But that, I feel like that's the first step. And it's a really hard question to ask yourself, really hard. If you're creating content, you might think it's really good, but do you think it's really good because you're the one making it? That's a really hard question to ask yourself and accept. What makes this different? What is my value? Why would somebody watch this? Because we only have 24 hours in a day. People's time is super valuable. They're really, really busy. So why are they spending 5-10 minutes on your video as opposed to all the other options out there? And if you don't have a solid answer for that, that's the first thing you need to address. You don't need marketing. You don't need to advertise yourself. You don't need to try to grow. You don't need to ask anybody for help. You don't need to collab with anybody until you fix that right off the bat. Because if it doesn't matter if 10,000 people see you, but in those 10,000 people didn't find any value from the content you're making because you're not different enough, what value does any of those impressions mean to you?
No, that's actually an excellent point. I mean, think about it. Let's look at something I do. My YouTube channel is different because I don't even have a traditional niche in YouTube. Creative entrepreneurship is not something people are talking about.
No, it's not.
With any level of exclusivity. And when they do, it's either all business development or it's all talking about the creative lifestyle. It's not talking about the creative lifestyle, actual business development in a practical way. And also, how do you even execute? How do you actually do this in Photoshop or Premiere? And what tools and tech do you need? I'm the only person taking a holistic approach to creative entrepreneurship. And that's how I differentiated myself. I actually rebuilt and rebranded my quote unquote niche, which is a very small niche and it's something different. And when I look at what I feel like Casey Neistat did was he took vlogging and filmmaking and married those and remixed it. When I look at PewDiePie, he took comedy and dark humor and gaming and married those things in a unique way. And now that's even becoming formulaic. So now there's a need for new disruption. I love that you married tech, news, and comedy in an effective way. And I don't think the majority of people could pull it off. I don't think you're the only tech YouTuber that I could imagine getting away with doing a stand-up comedy bit.
Oh God, no. That would be so difficult. I couldn't do it.
I think you could pull it off. I think you could. But
if you give me a stand-up comedy gig and you say, hey, it's about the iPhone 10, I could do it.
That's what I'm getting at. If you just go on and you just go on a tear on that, I could see you doing that. But I can't see anyone else in your niche pulling that off. Nobody I can think of could pull that off.
That's what I want. I want to sell you on my personality. I want I want the value of my show not to be the crap I'm talking about. I don't want the news to be the value. I would love for you to get your news from me. I would love for you to learn from the show. But the main value is the way it's being delivered to you. I want it to be fun. I don't want you to sit there and read articles all day or just get your news through a tweet. I want someone like me to give it to you, explain it to you, help you learn what it means for you, the average person, because it affects all of us, but also have some fun.
Like, overwhelmingly, your personality is why I watch your channel, and it's why we're friends. It's why we're homies. Like, I want to ask you, what's the ratio out of like 100 points? What's the ratio of you watching my content for my info versus my personality?
Well, that's not fair, Roberto, because I watched you well before we were friends.
True. So when you were
stuff before then.
So when you were watching before we got to know each other better, how much of, like, on the 100-point scale, how much of that was the information? How much was it the personality? And I'm giving you the caveat because I do know that I also am covering things that sometimes no one else will bother to talk about.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to be honest with you. I tried to avoid Roberto Blake. I tried, but every question I had, he was number one in search results for it. I tried so hard.
Victory is mine.
I know. I tried so hard because I was just like, oh, man, this guy again. And then eventually it just sold. I was just sold on him. And I'm like, okay, maybe he knows what he's talking about. And then I would search a couple more things and he'd come up again. And I'd watch it. And then eventually I caved. I subscribed. And then I would watch everything YouTube related you put out. And then that's when I met you at VidCon. And once I knew you, I got more attached to your personality. And now I just watch every video, even if it's something that I'm never, ever going to want to learn about. I'll just watch it because it's Roberto. So that's what I want. I want people to watch me just because I'm in a video.
And I think when that happens, by the way, people are pleasantly surprised because once you're all in on the individual and you're not, because sometimes the title, it may not be enough. And that's what people take for granted is the title may not be enough. And the thumbnail may not be enough. You got to convey personality and context in a thumbnail. I think that's a clutch tip that people take for granted. And then you said you discovered me primarily through search, which is definitely a bigger deal than I think most people realize because their favorite big YouTubers ignore it.
But the best part is I tried to get away from you. I tried to avoid you.
Like that actually. And see, that's where I think I win. And that's why I'm so glad you bring it up. A lot of people would be like, or like, no, I love it. And I love that I won you over. I mean, you know how many people didn't like Gary Vee when they started watching him, like, and were like not sold on him? Well,
that's what I'm telling you. I'll tell you straight up. That's what it was you were just like, you were so blunt and so straightforward. And I had a dude in my computer monitor telling me, you're doing it wrong. And there was no other answer. There was no like, maybe if you change this or that. No, Jon PROSER, you're doing it wrong. You got to do it this way. And I was just like, whatever, this dude's wrong. But he kept coming up in search, and it was blunt at first, but now you realize it's honesty, and you should listen.
I think that people are starting to get to a healthier place of respecting that, like, and not dipping into politics. But again, a lot of people say that they're anti-political correctness until you actually tell them the truth.
Yeah.
Until you actually tell them the truth.
Yeah.
And then then they want you to be gentle. Then they want you to dress it up. Then they want you to honey the medicine because you're telling them something they don't want to hear. Or you're telling them, like you said, you're wrong or you're doing it wrong or, hey, let me help you here. You got to do this.
I don't know if you remember this. And this is something that I really want to hammer home is like the fact that if you're on YouTube, if you have a YouTube channel and you're not growing, it doesn't necessarily mean you're doing the wrong things. Like, I did everything Roberto said, everything Tim Schmoyer said. I've paid hundreds of dollars in courses. Just like I've taken in everything I possibly could when it comes to YouTube, audience growth, the algorithm, everything. Ask me a question, I could probably answer. I would sound like Roberto Blake.
Yep.
Just less confident in what I'm saying.
You could probably pass the YouTube certification test at this point, and I think you should.
But that's the thing, like, just because you're not growing doesn't mean you don't know what you're doing or you don't have the knowledge. In fact, I had the knowledge, but I was also just throwing stuff out there to see what stuck. Like, I remember way back a few years ago, and I don't know if you remember this, Roberto, I was doing social media marketing, like hardcore.
Yeah, I remember.
I would follow a bunch of people, and they would follow me back. And in my head, I'm like, okay, if you're in a room full of people and you're at a party, no one's going to know who you are until you introduce yourself. That's what I took it as. Like, Twitter is my party. I'm going to go up and I'm going to introduce myself to everybody. So I would heavily target, like, I'm talking by age, the language they spoke, what YouTube channels they're subscribed to, when they were last active, like hardcore targeting. I spent a lot of money into social media marketing. I learned a lot, number one. So I don't regret it. And I also don't regret it because I grew a lot. But I remember one time I sent an auto DM. My account sent an auto DM to Roberto. And I was like, hey, like, this is my tech news show. And this is just me trying something else. Because the knowledge I had, I didn't think was working.
I remember this specifically.
Yeah. Yep. So an auto DM goes out to Roberto. We don't really know each other yet. He just followed me on Twitter because we met. And he gets an auto DM, and the first response is, "Yeah, dude, this isn't the way." He just straight up told me, "Yeah, this isn't the way." And like, I was really dedicated to it. Like, it wasn't like, "Hey, thanks for following. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel," and that was it. Like, I would have genuine conversations. I dedicated an hour or two out of my day to talk to these people and have a genuine, real conversation with them on Twitter, so they could get to know me. And a lot of people thought that was a really big value, that like, I wasn't just a face on YouTube and I wasn't just trying to grow. I was creating genuine connections. But it took a lot of time out of my day. We saw growth, but it wasn't, now I'm learning, it wasn't that significant. It was a lot of
time to effort benefit wasn't really enough to justify it.
And but Roberto was like, "No, dude, this isn't the way." And I tried for a few more months, and then I was like, "Okay, whatever. I really need to hunker down and do just really focus on content." And we got a deal. I started working with Amazon on their original programming side. So I do stuff with them in New York City. I do stuff from here, and they're a great crew. I love the people over at Amazon, and that gave me a little bit of freedom for the stress level to come down, where I'm not panicking anymore. I'm not just throwing stuff at a wall, and I'm not trying to, follow a bunch of people on Twitter and see what happens.
And I remember when that first happened, and like, I've always talked about, there's always another way. There's always, the saying goes, oh, there's always another way to skin a cat. But it's like, I've always talked about diversifying, and so many people, they think the answer to making it on YouTube is they have to make it on AdSense and sponsor deals to be a real quote unquote YouTuber. And you got the deal with Amazon when you were at like, what, 18,000 subscribers, 20,000?
Yeah. And that's another thing. Like, you never know who's watching. Like, so what if you have 100 views on a video? You don't know what one of those people that are watching is, or who they are. You just never know. And
it turned out to be the people at Amazon.
For 6 months, they had been watching me before they decided to contact me and be like, "Hey, we want to work with you and try some new original content with you." And it was amazing. And like, to put in perspective, 18 to 20,000 subscribers at that time, though our views were relatively low, like we might've been breaking 1,000, 2,000 views a video. We had worked with Velcro, Intel, Alienware, Coca-Cola, Toyota, Verizon Wireless, like
the dream of like brand deals, things I haven't even pulled off.
Some of the biggest names on the planet in terms of like brands and tech and stuff. And I'm not, a lot of this is just sales, like being really good at sales. I'm not saying I'm really good at sales. In fact, I would say a lot of it's guesswork. A lot of it is just trying to figure out the language that they want to communicate with you at, and then using it with them. And like, that's all I did. Even with those lower numbers, the lower views, I was landing longer term brand deals. Like,
it's funny because I talk about that all the time. I talk about the fact that the thing that you did well, in my opinion, was you made it easy to say yes, and you found a way to justify what you were asking for outside of the context of the numbers and audience reach in YouTube to those brands. Can you go a little bit into how you did that?
Yeah, and this is, and again, I can't tell you that you're going to be 100% successful if you implement this stuff. A lot of it's guesswork, but a lot of it is just recognizing that I do a lot of things differently than regular creators. Like, first of all, I want to be clear. It's not just me. It's actually me and another guy named Brian Shoup. We've been best friends from high school. They say don't start businesses with your friends, but
they're wrong about that.
Yeah. There's never been a problem there. And we basically started from Page Tech together. In fact, fun story. like a couple months into Front Page Tech, Brian was going to college to be a history teacher. And that's when I was like, hey, do you want to be part of Front Page Tech? Because he was coming on every Monday. And the very small audience that we had really loved him being in the episodes. So I was like, hey, do you want to become part of Front Page Tech, like 50-50? And he's like, yep, dropped out of college. And I don't want to say that's why. I think he wasn't like on the right path, and that's not what he wanted to do.
Well, considering what's happened long term, I think he made a smart choice.
Yeah, it's just investment. Like, this is like, and we just make a really good team. We understand, we have the same humor, and I think that's why it works out so well. But when it comes to talking with these brands, a lot of it was convincing, which sucks. Like, when you have to convince a brand what you're worth, that's hard. But that's a very important piece of advice I can give, is that you got to know what you're worth. And I've seen Roberto do a couple of videos where he answers like, how much should I charge for a brand deal? What am I worth? That sort of thing. You got to figure that out. Like, you got to know what you're worth. And I knew what I was worth. So even though on the front end, brands were seeing 1,000, 2,000 views a video, I was able to say, I was able to flip that in every situation. They were like, they could come to me and say, well, you only have this many views. And then I could come in and say, yeah, but those are the same people every day. Like, that's how our audience is really committed. Those aren't 1,000 or 2,000 random views that we're like really hammering through SEO to get. Those are people coming back every single day.
Loyalty.
Those are people you can get a message in front of every single day.
Right. They overpay for billboards that less people than that pay attention to in a month. I'm not even joking.
And that was another thing I did. And I'm telling you, we sold inventory, and you've heard Roberto say it before. We're not selling just one video. That's what the beginning amateur creators do. If you want to be an amateur, sell one video.
I'm going to make a YouTube video. Just because you said that, here's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to make a YouTube video, and I'm going to title it, "The Biggest Mistake YouTube Creators Make with Sponsor Deals."
And that's it. That's it.
Yep.
That's the one thing they don't understand, because creators will try to sell one video, and let's just say a decent brand deal for like a smaller channel. What would you say? 400, 500 for one video?
Conservatively, I would say between $250 and $500, assuming that we're talking about a channel that was the relative size of yours, let's say 10,000, 20,000 subscribers, even some channels bigger than that.
Yeah.
$250 to $500 on an individual video.
And that's the thing. And that's what brands want, which I think is why creators make the mistake. Brands say, we want you to make a video. We want you to say this. Here's money. There's a couple things that happen there. Number one, it's not your regular content. So when you upload it, there's a good chance half your audience will even care to click on it, because they'll see it's not your normal stuff. They'll only watch it if they're interested in you. And then at the end of it, it's a sponsored video, so it's sort of just throwaway. Whereas I was able to turn around and say, yeah, that's what other creators would do. What I'll do is, instead of charging you $500 for one video, I'll sell you $200 per video for a week or for a month. That's what I was doing. I would sell, instead of one dedicated video, I would sell a 30-second ad spot in my show, regular content that people are going to watch anyway. And now I'm just giving the brand an outlet that they know they're going to get the audience. And I sell an ad package instead of one video.
Which is a mention or plug, because a 30-second spot is something that they're used to. And and they spend thousands of dollars to produce a 30-second video spot, which is why creators don't know how to price themselves. Is you are not just talent. Think about this. To pay an actor or actress a day rate to produce a commercial. I have friends who are actors and actresses. They get $600, $800 for a day of work to be in front of the camera. They're doing no editing, no production.
Right.
Think about what the in-house production team or the person working a salary, what the comparative rate is for them to be doing that technical task and job. Like, it's cheap to buy influencer marketing. That's why people buy it. It's dramatically underpriced, and it's undersold by far.
Right.
And creators not understanding that don't realize that 15 and 30-second ad spots, just to distribute those in social media to get clicks that never convert, brands spend thousands of dollars a day. So you're doing production, you're doing talent, and you're doing distribution, and you're doing it for one low price.
Right.
And that's just for a mention / plug video. It doesn't even have to take over the video.
Right. And that's what I say now. Like, this is, and this actually caused somebody at FameBit to reach out to me and literally straight up ask me, what's going on? What are you doing? Because it had to look crazy from their end. Here's the secret to success. It's not really a secret, or rather, there's no secret to success except this one. So I use the same platforms that everyone else does. We use FameBit, we use Grapevine, we use Realia Labs. It's stuff that everyone else is using. We just use it differently. So that's the thing. Like, we know everyone's using it, and this was my mindset. I go on FameBit and I'm like, wow, there's so many brands here. Oh man, but there's so many creators here. Like, why would they pick me? And then I ask myself, oh, well, if there's so many creators here, they're probably doing the same thing I'm about to do. So the beauty of so many people on the platform is you know what they're doing, you know how they're thinking, and you think the opposite direction.
When so everyone zigs, you zag.
So I zagged. I would be on FameBit. This is how it would go. I'd send out offers, and I'm not sure if this is against the TOS or anything, but like, I've had meetings with FameBit in person. I've talked to Grapevine.
Yep.
Nobody is listening. Nobody. Somebody's got to listen. And you know what? At this point, I don't care if you don't listen, because either way, I'm benefiting from it. On FameBit, on Grapevine, you're only allowed to propose one video. If you aren't familiar with how it works, brands are there. They say, hey, we want you to promote this product, this service. What's your proposal? And then you say, hey, brand, I'll do this. I'll say this. I'll make this. Here's my price. So what I would do is I would go in and I would look at their marketing budget, because it says on FameBit and on Grapevine, here's what we're willing to spend. So let's say on FameBit, you see some that are like, okay, we're willing to spend $5,000. But FameBit tells you, hey, we recommend you only charge $200. So what I would do is I'd reach out to the brand and say, hey, this is what I'm willing to do. This is my channel, but I can do something for you that other creators on this platform, I called them out, the other creators on this platform cannot do for you. Let's talk, smiley face. And I would put my proposal charge at like $300 or $400, just so they would look at it. And then we get to talking, and then be like, hey, what's that thing you said you could do? So now it appears to them, it feels to them like it's their choice, which it is. I said, hey, I can do this thing. If you want to talk, let's talk. So we have the conversation, and that's when I drop, hey, I won't just sell you one video. I'll sell you an ad package. I'll sell you a week, 2 weeks, a month. And they would jump on it. And I would do this because instead of having them spend $400 on me and then $400 on the next guy, I know what their advertising budget is, or a rough an estimate about what their advertising is, and I want to take all of it. I don't want the other guy to get it. I'm taking all of that. Exactly. All that money that you said you're willing to spend coming to me, because I can give you multiple videos. So
whatever you see the advertisement is for, hey, this is what our brand deal thing is, multiply that by 5 to 10x, because like you said, they're trying to either give that individually.
They're not only talking to you.
They're not only talking to you, they're going to do a broad campaign, because you're going to see the recommended and related videos that are all the same thing. It's good. They're talking to 5, 10, 20 people. They're trying to spread that out. But the thing is, I was a marketing manager in corporate. So I worked in the ad industry. I know how media buying works. And I instructed people in my videos to do exactly what you did, which is approach it like a media buy. Take all of the opportunity, sell as much of your inventory as possible, get a longer term commitment out of the brand, and explain to them that the benefit is not just bulk discount and pricing, but it's the fact that this will be recurring for them, because it's multiple opportunities to hit the same people to get a conversion. And and they know that, because that's the game that we play.
And it's so easy. It's so easy for everybody. It's less work, because now they only have to talk to one person. And now what I know, when that happens for me, the stress level drops. Like, now I'm not panicking trying to fill ad inventory. I have it. I locked it down, and I'm good for a month, for however long. Like, we did a deal with Velcro, and the people that have been in my audience will remember this, because they saw 6 months of Velcro ads. We landed a deal for 6 months with them, and we were good. All the inventory.
6 months of a commitment of selling like ads and everything like that. Are you allowed to like tell us what that looked like on the financial end of that?
I cannot.
Okay,
But
fair enough. Fair enough. But
let's say it was enough that I was, number one, I was willing to do 6 months, and I didn't do any other sponsorships.
before you guys blew up in the last 2 months to go from like 25,000 to like 50,000 plus subscribers on your way to 60 any day now, 60,000 any day now. Like, what was the biggest brand deal you guys did on the channel? You don't even have to name
Point?
Yeah, up to this point. Like, you don't even have to name like names and everything like that. But like, what's the biggest brand deal like you guys have done?
An 80K deal.
An 80K deal as a channel with under 100,000 subscribers, as a channel with less than. Let me put this number into perspective for people. Recently, and let me look up her subscriber count, because I'm going to put this into perspective for people. Are you familiar with a YouTuber, Bethany Moda?
Yeah.
Okay. She's like one of the big lifestyle YouTubers. Okay. Bethany Moda is a diamond play button channel with 10 million subscribers. On the podcast, do you remember a controversy about like a $300,000 brand deal that she got? So Bethany Moda had a $300,000 brand deal, and she has 10 million. You negotiated an 80K brand deal.
Yeah.
And how many subscribers? Sales, how many subscribers did you have on that when you did that deal?
When I signed the deal,
13,000 subscribers. 13,000 subscribers. You did a healthy 5-figure brand deal, almost a 6-figure brand deal for 80K. YouTuber with 10 million subscribers, diamond play button award winner, the top 0.01% of YouTube, like does something like about 3-4 times that amount, but like the proportion of difference in your audience and views is astronomical.
Right.
But look at the gap. Look at how thin the gap is in the price range.
Yeah.
That's insanity.
Well, I think that's a direct side effect of our willingness to go to find these deals, to go to the brands. Like, we're not waiting for an email to drop in the inbox. We are every day looking for people, and we'll land them for a week. Yeah, we'll land them for 2, maybe a month. But every so often we land on that one deal that will lock us down, that one company that is willing to lock us down for 6 months or a year, however long. It's just like, and those are the ones we try to reach. And it's just because we understand what a brand is looking for. That's the mistake that people make all the time. It's just like, hey, I need a sponsor. Will you sponsor me? Because please. Yeah, like, that's not what brands want. They want to know why would they do that? What are they going to get out of it?
Let me ask you, so you guys essentially are acting as your own direct sales team.
Absolutely.
We saw the controversy recently with YouTube demonetization with Casey Neistat. Phil DeFranco reported on it, and we saw that like Jimmy Kimmel has a direct sales team that lets him circumvent the policies on some level, although YouTube is trying to close some of those loopholes. But because they can afford to staff a direct sales team, they don't operate like traditional YouTubers. But you don't operate like traditional YouTubers either. And you guys are not like a late night show backed by a major network. And you guys do your own brand deals, because that's the other thing MCNs do. For some MCNs do that for creators. You guys are independent of an MCN now, and you're doing fine. You may not be negotiating your own deals for ad revenue, but essentially you are in the way that you're operating with brands, because they're selling 15 and 30-second ad spots on your channel that they would normally sell as like a pre-roll ad.
Yeah. That people may skip. They may have ad blocker. You never know.
Which is another thing you bring up in the sales negotiation of, hey, this is your guarantee of your thing.
Yeah, and that's like, so every brand, we all have the same conversation. They want a dedicated video, or they want one dedicated video every single week. And I always come back to them with, why? Like, why are you saying this to me? Look at my numbers. You see where the people are. Like, and I've always heard this. It is not the responsibility of people to be where the business is. It's the responsibility of the business to be where the people are. So I took that mindset and straight to the business. Like, look at the front end. You can see, all the numbers are public. You see that's where the people are. Why not advertise there? Like, I can't guarantee you views. Like, as much creators would love to be like, yeah, my channel has this many subscribers, so if I upload this video, it's going to get this many views. No, it doesn't mean people are going to care because you upload a sponsored video. I know where people are watching. I know they're going to watch my show every day, and I'm telling you, brand X, this is where you want to be. You want to get in front of the people that are already watching. I don't want people to like see a sponsored video or be searching for you in the YouTube algorithm or the YouTube search, and that's how they find you. I want to put you in front of people who don't know who you are yet, and that's how I would sell it.
Bingo. That's brilliant. I love it. And then you also are augmenting that through your social media distribution, which is not a huge following on Twitter or Facebook, but it matters. And it does mean that the people who are loyal there, it matters to them. And it's another touch point because it's something you brought up earlier. You had to see me quite a bit to convert to be a subscriber. It's the same thing with a brand. That's the advantage of selling ad inventory.
Yeah, it's trust. It's like, and it was always the funniest thing because Velcro would always call me and be like, John, I don't know what you're doing, but this is amazing. Like people would tweet them because the issue, Velcro, everyone knows who Velcro is. The reason they wanted to work with us was because they had the Kleenex effect, where every tissue you see, you just call it a Kleenex because that's just the brand you recognize. And now anything sticky, you just call Velcro. Velcro wanted to separate themselves as, no, this is just generic products. We are a brand, Velcro brand, and we sell a bunch of other stuff, not just the laces for your shoes. We sell like cable ties, and we can organize your whole office, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So when we started promoting them and stuff, that we went into it knowing we're not going to introduce anybody to Velcro. We just wanted to give them brand recognition. So now, even to this day, they'll call me because people will walk into Walmart and they'll see Velcro products and it'll click, they'll take a picture and they'll tweet it to Velcro and be like, hey, I saw Velcro at the store today. Maybe they didn't buy it, but there's that brand recognition
and awareness now. Exactly. Yeah. It's changing the narrative around what they do, and they're not a generic like slang term for sticky stuff anymore.
Yeah.
By the way, like if you're out there and you happen to be watching or listening to this interview on the podcast, if you are a YouTube prank channel, you should probably reach out to the Velcro social media team and offer them something clever.
Yeah, that's the thing is be creative. You don't want to just give talking points for brands. People are watching you most likely because they trust you. So when a brand works with me, the best brands are the ones that say, John, how would John say it? Like they're not like, hey, make sure you say this, this, and this, and follow this every word on this piece of paper. How would John say it? Because that's how the audience is going to react and convert on that ad. And that's something that's really important and that brands completely underestimate most of the time. Is like, when I'm promoting you, you can't take those results and judge them based off of something instant. Like we release an episode, 20,000 people see it, but only a few people actually made a sale there. My first reaction is, so what? Like those are just the people that were ready to convert right there. They saw the ad and they're like, okay, I'll buy it right now. But what about the people a week from now? They're going to be like, I need this thing in my life. Oh yeah, John said this. Like, what's the value on that?
Bingo. Exactly. I actually sell to brands in much the same way. I'm going to be more aggressive about it, like, especially after talking with you, because again, like that's not how my business model has to work. But the thing is, I want more relationships with brands, and I want to advocate for the brands that I use a lot more because I want them to understand influencer marketing better. So I want to set a good example of, wow, we had such a good experience with Roberto. We'll do more influencer marketing with creatives, and I want to influence how they approach the policy of influencer marketing. Right. So you're going to see me do more sponsored stuff, but my angle is different than everyone else's because I want to influence influencer marketing policy. Right. And standards, and that's how. But I have to be in the game, right?
And we're in such a really weird midpoint, right? Because the shift is happening right now, and if you don't see it, you're gonna be left behind so quickly. Like the shift is happening from TV to internet, new media stuff. It's happening right now, and if you don't hop on it now, there's a good chance you're too late 3 years, 4 years from now.
This is the biggest shift, as Gary Vee would say. I'm not going to take credit for this. The biggest shift from like, it's like the radio when the television came out. Like,
Yeah.
and this is it, because like, I don't schedule my life around TV like I did when I was growing up. I don't have to schedule my life around anything anymore, because
Yeah.
it's
People
all
are choosing now.
exactly. And that's the benefit of YouTube, is its choice. Anyone who's thinking about quitting YouTube, just like you were not that long ago, it's a
Yeah.
mistake. I tweeted that. Did I tweet that this morning or yesterday? Like, that's a mistake.
I don't know.
For anyone thinking about quitting YouTube, it's a mistake, because it's not over yet. And you and I were talking about this. If you can make it now and through the next 2 or 3 years, no matter what happens, you'll be able to make it, and you'll build a brand, and you'll understand, because now that we have the apocalypse, now that we have all these other things hitting creators, if you can figure it out and you can survive now, you're a freaking titan.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's all a shift in mindset, and I've needed it's really hard to explain to like people that have never heard this stuff before, because it's taken me. Did you just dab on a sneeze?
Yep, that's my new thing.
Wow, that is. I want to give you like all the points in the world for that one. That was great. That was a classy sneeze. So like, it's taken me 5 years to learn all this stuff. Like, and a lot of it was just I was naive, I was stubborn, and I wasn't willing to listen. You need to be willing to listen and adapt. And that's the biggest thing. It's really hard. It was really hard because like Roberto said, like I said, I was really close to quitting. And I just assumed that I was doing all the wrong things. I was trying to do all these other things, but this is why it worked. And I didn't actually understand this till literally like an hour and a half ago. Roberto and I were talking on the phone, and he told me why it worked. So like we blew up this last month. Like we got the same amount of subscribers this 1 month as it took us 5 years to get. It's insanity. And we're pulling like the conversion rate, like the views we're getting right now is well above where a channel our size should be getting, like well above it.
Yeah, by far. You guys have a channel, your channel is a fifth the size of mine, and you get 3x the views on average now. And it's only going to get more and more and more.
But here's the beautiful thing. We didn't change anything. Like there was no secret method. We didn't start putting Jake Paul in the tags. Like we didn't do anything suddenly that just made it work. I've known how to really elevate stuff and videos and SEO and really pay attention to tags and metadata in the description and the title and keywords. And I understand that YouTube isn't a computer. You need to put your videos out there and do SEO as if you were trying to get your video in front of a human, because the YouTube algorithm understands how humans think, how humans search, and that's how it works. So we were doing that. Tags were done properly, description, title, thumbnails, great, by the way. Our thumbnails are pretty good.
I've always appreciated, you know how much I appreciate that.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We just kept doing that. We kept doing that, kept doing that, even when we saw no change. And I'm telling you what, just a few months ago, I would go back and I'd watch all the same videos from Roberto, all the same videos from Tim that would dive deep into the algorithm. I would watch all the courses that I got, and just to sit there at the end of all the hours of watching all this stuff again, being like, yep.
Checking the box, checking the box, checking the box.
I'm doing all this stuff. I didn't change anything. I guess I'm doing it right. So I just kept doing that. We released one video that does extremely well, like over 500,000 views all of a sudden in just a couple weeks. And it suddenly somehow gets us in front of enough people to where now, and it's even proven in our analytics and it's proven in our comment section, that YouTube is just outright recommending the channel. Like they now recognize who the show should be in front of. So we were publishing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. When this video blew up and we started getting a few thousand subscribers, we doubled down on the content, because now we know the content works. We just need more people to see it. So we went every day, and it's been really hard. It's a lot of work, but the benefit there is it's not just me. I have an editor.
It's growth.
Yeah, we went every single day to get the show in front of more and more people. And now every day we get hundreds of people just because we released a new show, and we get comments every day from people that are angry, kind of like how I was like, why do I keep seeing Roberto Blake? People keep commenting like, why does YouTube keep recommending this? I hate this guy. But thanks for the comment, because I know it's working now.
And guess what? Them commenting, they're going to get even more of you, because So
the best thing.
that's a hack that people don't realize. If you trigger engagement, you get recommended more channels that you engage with.
That's something I've really learned. Like, people will say something awful, like terrible about me or to me in the comment section, but now I just don't respond. There's a couple reasons. Number one, now we literally can't keep up with our comment section, which is kind of amazing. It's a
good problem to have.
Yeah. But the other thing is, the real hardcore dedicated fans defend me, and then they just start arguing, which the engagement just shoots up. So guys, listen, I appreciate you for more than one reason, but also from an SEO standpoint, I'm gonna let it happen.
Right on. So I see some interesting things going on with your channel, because I'm looking at the data right now in real time. So almost 1.5 million views in the last 30 days, and about roughly in the last 30 days 19,000 new subscribers roughly. And you guys have also published 22 videos in the last 30 days. And I'll contrast that against like my channel. In the last 30 days, I've done, because I've been traveling so much, 12 videos. To you guys is 22 in the last 30 days. That's not normal for me. But despite cutting my output in half, I'm at 556,000 of my typical 600,000 plus views. You guys are at 1.4 million views in the last 30 days. So that's super impressive. And again, I've gained about 6,000 new subscribers this last 30-day cycle. You guys have gained 19,000 plus. And again, that's Social Blades data, which might be just a little bit off, but that's that's super impressive. And that's to give people perspective of how you can punch above the weight class of a 250,000 subscriber channel. And I say that because I want small YouTubers to understand it's not impossible. You guys in the last month and a half, you found something that hit. You used timing. You took advantage of the tentpole content. You guys have done Apple videos before. You've done Apple videos before. But this one, you hit it. And you hit it hard. And it resonated.
Was so weird because, I've had videos before I do it where I'm like, yeah, I think this video is going to do well. But what we did was, and when I have to say all this out loud, it ends up being a lot of credibility towards Roberto. I wanted to give Roberto credibility, but not this much.
Not like this.
Yeah. So we always produce timely videos. We report the news. Like the Apple event happened, so we put out a video 3 hours later after that 3-hour Apple event where we reported the news. So it was very timely. That video got 100,000 views. Cool. But then
in a day?
No. In like a week.
Okay. But that's still abnormal for you, for anybody.
Yeah. So that's against what would normally be 1,000 or 2,000 views. So Roberto, this time last year, actually, we were sitting in a lobby, and I was trying to pick Roberto's brain for hours after we had that Thai food. And I was like, Roberto, what do I do? What am I doing wrong? And he literally broke down a content strategy for me. And one thing he said was, your show is regular, and that's great because that keeps people around, but you need something that is put out there just for people to discover you. So what I did after this Apple event, and after I saw this other video do well, I realized an opportunity that everyone is praising the Apple stuff. All the big tech YouTubers sound the same, but I, as a designer and just someone who appreciates consumer tech, I don't praise tech just because of the specs, because of the speed.
Everyday use. Every day, bro.
Loyalties lie with you, the average consumer. That's who my show is for. So I wanted to make a video standing up for those people, being like, we need to stop letting Apple do this. They're losing their vision for whatever reason, and quality control and design. It's just, and I don't know, I can't say they're doing
while charging more.
Yeah, they might be doing it on purpose. But another thing is, they've just, the same people that were Apple years ago are not there anymore. They don't have the same vision, and it's hard to tell Apple they're wrong when on their end the numbers are going up. They can't see the problem.
All they see is
money. I like how you just conveniently have some 20s on the desk. I made a video.
Actually, I should make that something that I can do during live streams. I should make that a regular.
Every time someone puts,
I could go to the safe. I have a safe. I could go to the safe. I could pull out some money for my live streams. That's not a bad idea.
So I made a video called Apple Sucks Now and It's Your Fault. And listen,
I love it.
When I was
I'm looking through
video,
the inventory of your videos for that, by the way.
yeah, it was just a month ago. That's what triggered everything.
Yep. There we go. It's up to 646,000 views, by the way, everybody. Like, it's over 500,000 views. It's on its way to 1 million.
Yeah, it's at one point it was getting 20, 30, 40,000 views a day. It was insane. So, and this is one of the only videos where, as I'm scripting it, none of the content is scripted, but I wanted to make sure it was short, and I wanted to make sure I said the right thing. So I'm scripting it, and as soon as I typed that title out, I was like, "Yep, this is it." Like, I cannot shift focus from this title, because for one, if my audience sees this title, they're going to click on it. And second of all, if you see this in recommended videos, you're going to click on it because someone's saying Apple sucks now and it's your fault. So, and I stuck to that. It wasn't clickbait.
Remember what I said about titles have to trigger curiosity or trigger an emotion, even if it's visceral. I've said that. And if you deliver on the promise of that title, it ain't clickbait.
Yeah. And I went in, I planned on getting a lot of hate. I was prepared to get a lot of hate for it. And I was just, the point of the video is essentially like Apple's losing their vision and they're not going to change because nobody's asking them to. That's why I was saying it was your fault, because you keep buying their stuff. I release it. It does well. Like, a lot of people are praising me, and like the big YouTubers, and a lot of people are like, dude, this is a great video. Some people are like, this is the best video you've ever made. And I'm like, the next day is like a great day for John. You know, it's got like 8,000 views, and I'm like, yeah, this video is doing well. I go to sleep, and then I wake up, and it's got 60,000. And suddenly, I'm not getting as much hate as I anticipated. Most of the people are like, you know what, you're right. And I think this is the very rare time in the history of tech where someone saying the things I was saying actually did resonate with people, because I think a lot of people are sharing the same feelings. Like, even you now feel the frustration.
And again, this is coming from a guy who has, hang on, like this to make a point.
A lot of stuff, a lot of Apple products. Is that a shield down there? It was shield. I think it was a shield. Is that Captain America's shield? America's shield. Not sure. Can you guys see that?
To make this point clear for people who are watching the version of this, for those of you who, like John saw it, like, but for those of you who listen to the podcast, you'll want to watch the video on this. So we're talking about someone who has the, Apple iPad. This is the iPad Air 2 because the Pro is a gimmick. It's a joke. I'm going to actually do – maybe that's the video pop for me, why the iPad Pro is a joke. The iPhone 8, the iPhone 8 Plus, the 2017 MacBook Pro with Touch Bar. And
this is just all the stuff you bought now. Like,
fairly recently, yeah.
You've been into Apple products for years.
The Apple TV that sits on my desk, the iMac that's over there in the retired desk corner that's going to change, and somewhere in here I have my retired iPhone 4S, and I've got my iPhone 6S that's retired as well. Like, So, and then my Mac Pro Tower from when they made modular things you could upgrade, which we're hoping for in 2018.
Yeah.
To their credit, they listen sometimes. Oh, and of course, one of my favorite Apple products right now, the AirPods, which I thought were a gimmick until I bought them, and they're legit. Review coming soon. Like, so, like, when I give Apple crap, not unlike you, like, when we give them crap, it's coming from a place of what's the...
That was the hard thing.
Yeah, it's coming from a place of, like, we want you to get it right. We want you to succeed. We're not just romanticizing what we would call the good old days, but it's like, we remember where you came from. Don't leave us behind. Like,
that was the hardest thing with the video, especially with tech. Everyone's just so, like, they just attack you with so much venom. Like, it's so ridiculous. Like, and I made that a point in the beginning of the video. I say, this is not about Android versus iOS. I've been an Apple fan for years. I'm only saying this stuff because I love them. I'm only comparing today's Apple to yesterday's Apple. That's all I'm doing. So it was a video that hit at the right time. It resonated with people that hate Apple because that's easy. It also resonated with people that love Apple and just want them to do better. It was the perfect time for this video. And within days, it was...
After 10 years of the iPhone, like, there was, like, a little bit of disappointment, and it's reflected in the sales right now, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
that's what we need. That's the only thing Apple's going to listen to.
Yeah. And the thing is, a lot of people say, oh, well, it's just I'm waiting for the iPhone 10 because that's going to be so amazing. And I think that Apple's going to be disappointed with the iPhone 10 sales. And the thing is, I saw after your video popped, I saw a lot of people that I wouldn't have expected. I do attribute this to you.
Well, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to look like a jerk.
I attribute to you more people being willing and open to having conversations about this, not only in the YouTube community as people who create the content saying, yeah, and not being Apple apologist.
Yeah.
I see more people willing to give Apple honest criticism, even people who self-identify as Apple sheep. Like a small tech YouTuber that I've come to enjoy is Telosive Tech.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I love his humor. I love that he's doing something a little bit different. I wonder if it's possible you might have influenced him. I don't know. I'm not going to say that that's the truth.
Well, there's been a lot of people when that video came out, a lot of people were like, well, you need to talk to Telosive Tech. Like, he needs to see this, or you should debate this with Telosive Tech, or people that really love him and really hate me. It's just so that I hadn't heard of him until then. And in fact, I was a total jerk, Roberto. I went on because someone was like, hey, you need to watch this guy's video, Telosive Tech. And I go to his video, and it was his Apple defense after it was a week after my video. I'm not saying he hated it because of my video, but
sure.
And I didn't even watch it because behind him was a wall of Apple products. And I tweeted with a screenshot.
You fell for the trap.
Yeah, I tweeted and said, listen, I already got, this is all the defense I need. I'm not going to watch this. And I tagged him in it. So that spawned a little Twitter fire. But since then, just to clear things up, I don't have a problem with him at all. In fact, I think it's really funny. That's one of those things where I'm not into the content because he really loves Apple, and I'm at the other end of the spectrum. I want to be try to be as unbiased as possible for the average consumer. But I like it because of his personality.
I like that he owns it. He literally refers to himself
if you're gonna love Apple, that's the best way.
Hey, I'm your Apple sheep here and everything like that.
Yeah. That's the way to do it.
I Justine too. But what I will say is interesting is I see both of them doing much more fair critique and hitting them when they'll talk about what they love, but they will hit them on the, hey, Apple, you could do better on these things, or yeah, I disagree with that and everything like that. And I saw him almost switch to a Samsung Galaxy S8 because that phone is just that good, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like the ecosystem is the only thing. The ecosystem is the only thing that keeps me and the thing is, again, I almost didn't so much because the venom I have toward the whole.
You hated the day you had to buy that.
I did and I didn't. I hated the 2016 version of this. That's where I did my rant last year.
Yeah.
So why did I turn around the 2017 version, even though it was an incremental update to the KB Lake processor and so on and so forth? Because in 2017, we are closer to a USB Type-C world being viable. One, more of my devices use that so I can begin to live with it. I'm still frustrated about the ports thing, but with the hyperdrive takes care of that pretty quickly, all things considered. I can afford the dongles. Everyone's like, well, just buy the dongles. I'm paying $3,000 for a laptop. I don't feel like it should be a compromise on anything. If I'm paying that much money, there should be no compromises. That's always been my point, because what about everyone who they do need something and they need the ecosystem, they can do this? How do you justify that to them and everything like that? The money is not a problem to me. It's that for everyone else that has to even consider this for what they do, for one reason or another, I don't think that it's fair to ask them to compromise at that when they're paying that price.
Those people are like the people that complain about apps costing money. Like, oh, shut up. Do you remember the days where we paid hundreds of dollars for software? I don't know, maybe 4 years ago.
Oh, you mean the people who complain about the Adobe subscription model?
Yeah. Just people that complain about oh, this app is 99 cents. Come on.
It should be free. Everything should be free. Why do I have to watch ads? It's
come on.
Things cost money. Oh, but yes, let's all crap on me for being a capitalist,
Yeah.
It's not like my family is Cuban and Panamanian and I don't understand the benefit of capitalism to the world. Not going to politics,
There's value where there is value. It's that simple. Just because you don't, oh God, it's so frustrating, Roberto.
Right. Let's talk about some other aspect of money that's less frustrating and everything like that. Because like I love that we've talked about, because like timing is everything. You managed to hit timing
Yeah, the
perfectly on
point of
this
that
video,
whole thing was that that video landed at the right time, resonated with the right people.
and that you had to
Best
hold
part
out because you were going to quit. And like
Yeah.
look at how it turned around.
The best part is though, I knew that video. That was the only video I've ever made where I was like, this is going to do really well. Like, and I did it. I went in scripting the video knowing it was going to do well, making sure that I said the right things. I mean, I knew I was still going to make people mad, but like I wanted to say the right things and get my point across in the quickest way possible. I put the video out. It did way better than I thought it was going to do, by the way. But I was prepared for it to do well, sort of. And like that skyrocketed our channel. And that's when we doubled down. Like we started producing every single day. And I was just on the phone with Roberto a couple hours ago. And I said, like, what happened? What was the right, what did I do that changed it? And he said to me, nothing happened. You were prepared for it. Like you had already been doing this stuff for
Actually,
years.
we even had this conversation like a week and a half ago too. Like we
Yeah.
reiterated that and we went to the
right when it was just happening. I messaged Roberto on Facebook and I said, this is happening. Why is it happening? What do I do? And he was just like, calm down. It's fine. Everything's going to be fine.
because you know we talked about this before. We talked about this even last year. People go viral and then that's it, and they don't. There's nothing to be. They have no idea what to do next.
Yeah.
They don't do anything with that. They become viral for something they didn't want to go viral for. A lot of times, more often than not, it's not the thing they thought that would make it. It's not the thing that they wanted their brand to be. Like, but you guys had something. You stuck to your vision, and you didn't chase YouTube, and you did all the right things. And then when your moment came, you knew what to do next. And you knew how to make it work, and you've only kept making it work. And now the algorithm is your friend and your ally because you've done all the right things. And more importantly, what people don't understand is I've always said this. We are the algorithm. It's just trying to reverse engineer us and scale that. So when you say, oh, it should be more human, it's like it's getting eerily close. It's getting Terminator close.
Yeah.
And it's worrying. They still need to get monetization right, but
that's another thing. Like we're getting demonetized like crazy. A lot of times I can predict it. Like the other day the video was the Mac Mini is not dead. I knew since I put dead in the title there was a good chance it got demonetized, whatever. But like that's another thing I learned from Roberto and Tim Schmoyer and all these people that are much smarter than I am. With all these people complaining about the adpocalypse, like, oh my gosh, now I can't make as much content. Now I'm not going to put all the work in because it's not worth it anymore. I took that as an opportunity. It scared me enough to work harder at another revenue stream. That's when we doubled down on brand deals. Okay, YouTube ad revenue isn't reliable anymore, so we got to do this. And that's now it just happens that both of them are working out and we're okay. But like that's what happens. The risks happen because I get scared enough to make them happen.
Yeah, it's like, you know, between like I don't do nearly as well as you guys do on ad revenue. I do probably CPM wise.
Well, that doesn't count because the ad revenue that's just this month. Like
yeah, true.
A month ago we weren't pulling that anything significant.
Sure, but like now, like you guys are gonna kill it on that. Like you know, wonder if this video gets demonetized because I said kill it.
Yeah. Well, the beautiful thing is, according to our analytics, 70% of our audience is watching on their phones.
I love it.
That's amazing.
I love it.
Well, number one, that means that if the video doesn't look so good for this episode, that's fine. But also, that's almost guaranteed monetized views.
Yes.
Because you're worried about ad blocking on desktop. If I see they're watching on their phones, I feel really good about it.
Oh yeah, like I'm not at 70%. I think I'm at about roughly 50 or 60. Like now, that's been shifting incrementally. I think that people underestimate us living in a
crazy number, right?
Mobile first world, dude. Not only mobile first, soon mobile only.
Yeah.
Like that's
where only people like you and I are using the desktop.
Exactly. There will come a point because I don't think that technology will scale to where creators can go 100% mobile as creators at the level that they want to play at and everything like that. I can never imagine Casey Neistat being a pure mobile creator only for the level of production that you want. Same with Philip DeFranco. But there will be more people that's the entry level, and not only the entry level, that will become the intermediate level, and there will be.
That's the best. That's the best way. Like when people ask me, how do I start making videos?
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? You have all the things you need right here. The stuff years ago, this replaces 5 machines that I had to use to make one video.
Remember, I'm advocating more for this for a reason, even though it's not my primary content creation device. I'm advocating more for it because I really believe that this is enough to build an empire right now. And if you want to get fancy, this is all you need. Yeah. You don't even need a bank loan anymore. Like,
no,
I didn't get a bank loan. You didn't get a bank loan.
No.
Like, you know, so, I mean, like between ad revenue, like I say this, I never give the full numbers, but I will say this. It's like between all the affiliate stuff I do, which is Amazon, TubeBuddy, Bluehost, Wix, BH, a bunch of stuff, like between affiliate revenue alone, it's close to the $8,000 and $8,800 you need over 12 months to do 6 figures. You combine that with the few $1,000s I do in ad revenue, and yeah, YouTube as my personal branding stuff, that does 6 figures, but that's not even going into brand deals. That's not going into the rest of my personal brand with speaking engagements yet. And then that's completely separate from my consulting agency, Create Awesome Media, that focuses on video marketing and content strategy exclusively. And then that's all still separate from what I'm doing now in Awesome Creator Academy, which, by the way, we got to bring you in as a mentor. So I'm just going to make that happen.
I hear you say this a lot, where like anytime someone asks you about your YouTube ad revenue, you're always like, I make somebody's full-time income. And that's so true. Like, okay, so this month, just for pure transparency, and I'm only saying this because I want the people that have
to take it seriously,
that smaller channel, to be like, oh, this is reachable. Like, I don't want you to feel like it's so far out of your reach. This month we made $4,500 in ad revenue. And that's, I mean, Social Blade is kind of close. What you see on Social Blade
it's scary how close it is.
Yeah. So, and that's just as a reminder, like we don't have 100,000 subscribers, and but I will say, to you, that might seem like a crazy amount of money, but you also have to keep in mind that to create the content at the level we create it, at the quality and how frequently we create it, it's not just me. There's a team here, and that's not enough. That might be enough for somebody's full-time income, like Roberto says, but it's not enough for us, not even close. Which is
how many people on the team?
So we have 2. So it's me and Brian that are like every single day, but 3 if you just include the team itself. But like every day, front page tech, full-time job is what we do every single day. It's me and
you guys outsource your editing already.
Brian is the editor.
Brian's the editor.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Brian edits.
So you don't do what a normal YouTuber does, where a normal YouTuber shoots their videos, edits their videos, uploads and manages all of that on the back end. You don't do that. You split up and divide the workload, and both of you.
I can confidently say we wouldn't be able to produce the show every day if
both of you work the business development.
Yeah. So like all day I'll be talking to brands, I'll be making calls, I'll be on the phone, and then it only takes a half hour out of my day to film the show. I'll go film the show in the studio. I'll film it. I get it off to Brian, and then that's the next 2-3 hours for Brian out of his day. And that's the thing. Like, I would film, edit the whole thing from Page Tech by myself. And I always said I would never have an editor because I couldn't trust. Because I think half of the humor in the show is the editing. It's just it's so specific too. Just like when the cuts happen exactly. Like, I'm so crazy about it. But it helps that like Brian and I have been friends for all these years. We have the same humor. We get each other, and he can sort of read where I want things to be cut. And on top of that, I can confidently say that the show is now miles better without me editing, because now I have a different perspective, right? I give him the show, and then there's that whole other perspective of him editing and being able to add his own jokes and editing. So now the show is just way,
not to mention now your concentration is on the performance, like being on camera, the production, getting that right.
I will tell you, I'm much happier now, because before
people underestimate that.
Yeah, before I was like, sure, I'd film and it's only a half an hour, but like just knowing that the next 3 or 4 hours and I don't want to say editing sucks. I love editing. I've edited for major brands. But it was hard for me because it's so repetitive. It's the same show every day. I'm just saying different
things. The
things.
Commitment of time to having to sit there and hear your own voice, stare at your own face.
Yeah.
Like, people think YouTubers are narcissists. no, we don't like our voice and our face out of
Yeah.
anybody. Like, was we have to deal with it at a granular level. We have to sit there and stare at our pores in this 4K monitor. It's
Yeah.
like, it's not fun, guys.
But now I'm more like intentional about everything. Like I will make sure I get the right take. Like if I get through a take and I'm like, that could probably be better, I'll spend the extra time, I'll make it better, because at the end of the day, I'm happier to do it. I feel better, and I know the burden isn't on me. It's on Brian. So
Yeah.
I'll just toss it to him, and he's really good at it. And it's that other perspective of him being able to add his own jokes in there from another personality. So you're getting two personalities in one show, and you're only seeing one person. And I think that just that once I did that, I added a lot of value to our show. And I'm not saying to be successful on YouTube, you need to have another editor. I'm just saying.
But it is a differentiator between you and another creator of your size, because most people, even people at 100K, even people at 250,000, look, next year, like 80% of it, I'm going 80-20. Next year, 80% of the editing ain't going to be on me anymore. 80-20.
Yeah.
Like,
And how do you feel about just knowing that?
I feel fantastic knowing
Yeah.
that, because guess what? Next year, I'll be able to do what Evan Carmichael and Gary Vee did, because now I'll have a team, is that even if it's a team or two or three, closer to even what Jared Polin does, like having just 2 or 3 people to help, my content will be better. If you are here for my personality, this is why I will, like, my channel, my prediction is, because again, I haven't even had a video. No, I take that back. I've had one video pop. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't take advantage of it because it's not content that I could sustainably produce, because I didn't have that niche like you.
Okay.
Was the video that popped that did really well in a very short period of time. You'll remember this when I did the Microsoft Surface review, even before the big tech YouTubers, because I was at Adobe Max. And I prioritized doing that. I shot in the field, in the real world, versus just getting B-roll of it and then shooting at my desk like I normally would.
And that's one of those things where you knew you had it in the bag.
Yeah.
You just make it.
But in my case, I could only do 2 more videos about that, and not immediately, and not because I had great B-roll footage and other things I captured from that. But it was not something that wasn't my core niche, and it wasn't sustainable, and I knew that. So I had to let it go. I need something that I do in entrepreneurship or creativity to pop like that. And so I know one day if I do something like a new Wacom thing comes out or something like that, that maybe that's the answer. Or if it's something where I have some content coming up where I have a bunch of interviews with different people, kind of almost a new interview style thing that I'm doing that's different from this. But I'll tease it now. I got Sean Duras. I got Pat.
That's awesome.
I got John Cristani. I've got like 3 top tier entrepreneurs that are at that Gary Vee level. Like, that's what'll do it. Or like, if I get to do a sit down for 15-20 minutes with Gary Vee, that's what's going to, I know that those are the videos that will do it. And I know that doing more collabs with those people in entrepreneurship world, that because like those names will do something beyond YouTube. Like, as cool as it would be, doing a video with iJustine or Marquez Brownlee isn't going to blow up for me, unless, of course, it was something.
That's not your demo.
It's not my demo. The angle where it would do something interesting, it won't get the views. But if I get to do a sit down with them like this about the business behind their YouTube channel, and I do that as a mini series, that could definitely be something. But it's not what's going to get views on my channel.
Well, that's what really put like more credibility points for Roberto. Once we got these people coming in, the video was about the stuff we normally talk about, and we had a backlog. We had years worth of stuff that was already there that was the same thing. So they could go back if they saw that video, they're like, I might subscribe. They go check out the channel. They see this is what we talk about every single day. It's the same thing. It's not just an off video. Plus, we're not going away anytime soon. We've been doing this for 5 years. They didn't know I was about to quit. That's for me and Roberto. But for them, there's 5 years. We've made over 1,000 videos on that channel.
And here's another proof is in the pudding thing. Like, and actually, let me, here's how I'll do this. For those who are watching the video versus just listening to the podcast. And again, I'm going to I'll narrate this for the rest of you, but I'm going to literally do a screen share real quick. And what they should theoretically be seeing is they should be seeing, what are you seeing right now, John?
My YouTube channel.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I want to show them something. And I'm going to refresh this.
I mean, you can really see how harsh the shift is, and just in views, like from just a month ago.
Mm-hmm. So look at an interesting. YouTube is doing something interesting with like how it audits validating views and then it gives them back later, because I just saw something interesting happening. But like here's something fun to look at, because I can see where the shift in your channel really.
Absolutely.
I can literally see it.
It's so harsh.
Like, watch this. So Snapchat wants to make original shows. That was in the same month, right? That's in the same time period. And you did something on Tinder and you did something like this. And that's like 2.6K, like 6.5, which is tremendous for you guys, because look at prior to that, like 1K, like when we say this is serious. This channel was like doing good content, but look at that. It was a struggle to break 2,000, 3,000 views a very short period of time ago. And you guys took a break like 5 months ago for a long time, and you had to come back. And that comeback, it was hard. It was harsh, but you were doing it. And you know, we're wondering if it works. You did something here about Sprint and AT&T, you know, and here you go. Boom. Here is this video on Apple that they trolled us and they know it. That's
what we got to taste.
You got to taste there. This ended up blowing up later because of the backlog of people probably from this video then watching this recommended. So this is literally how this works, guys, because look at this leading right up to this days before. Nope. Bam. Gold, baby. All right. Okay. Not too bad. Oh, we killed it. We hit something. What happened? And then, oh, wow, this still is outperforming. Like, okay, this doesn't land. And you know who else I've done this with? You've seen the videos. Who else have I looked at the history of their channel and talked about this is where they blew up?
I've seen quite a few of those.
But I specifically,
channel reviews.
Right. But I specifically, those are channels where I was like, oh, they should do this. But I specifically called out a big YouTuber that looked at his channel, looked at what was popping, and kept then nailing that and figured it out. Who did I talk about?
I don't know. Who was it?
Jake Paul.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, Jake Paul.
Yeah, but no, he literally saw what you're saw. He's like, you know what? I did a video and it got 5 million views, and then the next video got 200,000. What happened?
Yeah.
Much difference, bigger difference in scale.
Right.
But he had the same, like, what happened? And then
well, the cool thing about this is we were going up thousands a day. So as soon as we uploaded a show, we were getting those initial views, plus then the algorithm was favoring us and we were getting recommended, and we get even more.
And now, it was recommending the backlog too.
Yeah. Now every show we do, even if it's not about Apple, because we were worried if we stopped producing about Apple, well, the videos start tanking, but it didn't happen. And
I can see that here. You like, oh, here we do Amazon. Not quite as big as a thing as Apple, but even though you worked iPhone into the title, because I see what you did there.
Yeah.
But boom. And it's still there. You even did an Apple video. You even did an Apple video, and it didn't perform as well as some of the previous ones. The Samsung, like, you know, foldable phone, that was something different and new. I was like, okay, well, these are two major brands. So then it becomes, oh, well, we can talk about major brands and things will happen and everything like that. This one doesn't go as well. Oh, T-Mobile, that does a little bit better. Okay. The Yahoo thing.
I don't know if you recognize what this is, Roberto. This is another thing I have to give you 100% credit for. So those videos you're seeing, the Ask a PT episodes, you gave me that idea.
I remember.
That's a series you told me to do. So like we used to do at the end of every episode of Front Page Tech, we would answer one question from the community. But this was something just on a moral level that I wanted to do, because the videos were blowing up, and it got to a point where I felt like I was just talking to an audience. I wanted a community show where it was just for me and the community. So that every Sunday we put up Ask a PT, where I don't even put tags. Like, this is not a video to be discovered. It's just for me. It's a personal thing for me and my audience, just for them to ask me questions and I answer them. The series itself was Roberto's idea, 100%. But like even those get over 10,000 views, and that's just my
Mhm.
audience. That's not trying
And
to
this
be
is a relatively new endeavor that you launched, and it's
yeah.
performing and it's working. And this is going to be your staple of hub content. You have this discoverable help style content that can become hero content if it blows up because it's newsworthy. I think that people, when I say hero content, they don't understand that it's either that it's got to be like newsworthy, or it's got to be on trend, or it's got to be a hero piece in the form of something aspirational or big production, i.e. a film or a documentary or a big interview with someone like Elon Musk or Gary Vee or God, who am I thinking of? Why am I spacing on this of all people? Anyway, I'll let it go. My point being, it's got to be something that will reach the broadest like audience and swath of human beings, regardless of whether they're into a specific thing or not. That's how hero content works. Help content is I'm looking for something specific. Hub is I'm here for you. And then hero is anybody would watch this.
Yeah.
For what it is. So anyone could take that. Like if I had to qualify hub, help, and hero, that's what I would do it as. And the thing is, you're positioned to hit all of those things. And that matters. And the nature of your shows do that. So that was a one of the better executions of the content strategy that I've ever outlined for everyone. This is one of the better executions of it. Proof's in the pudding, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. It's crazy because like those are just what we get now. Like those, a bad show, like one that doesn't perform well still gets 10,000 views.
That's when I do a video that does well.
Yeah, that's insane to me because last month we were getting 1,000 views. Like, but now as soon as we upload a video, and this is stuff I see in channels much larger. When I upload a video in the first hour, it gets 2,000 to 3,000 views because people are on it.
Yep.
And that to me, that's so valuable that the audience, like they're ready, they love it, and they're willing to watch
that first hour, by the way, getting that many views in the first hour, that's what's triggering the algorithm, by the way. So that's why you can sustain this. The first hour matters and the first day matters.
To me, like I give a lot of the credit just to the audience because like they quite literally changed everything, like changed their life. Just the fact that they're so dedicated, that they love the show, and as soon as I post it, they're watching it.
I give you credit for figuring out how to read your audience because that's something that most people don't figure out. Even I still sometimes am challenged because my audience is so diverse because of I took the hard road. But the thing is, it's the same thing with Gary Vee. Like the Gary Vee can put out a video that'll get 10,000 views. I've seen him do it. Like it'll happen. So like reading your audience is important, but also not compromising your goals or your vision is important because the thing that I love about your success, John, you and your team is that you didn't compromise your vision. You didn't even change the content. You just acted much more intentionally and you hunkered down and you said, my moment will come. You waited it out. Your moment came and you knew exactly what to do with it. And you knew that what you had was good. And then you doubled down and you committed and you reinvested in it. And it's the reason that everything has changed. And it's why a channel that has less than 50,000 or so subscribers has a very healthy 6-figure business model behind it today.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I didn't go into YouTube just to do YouTube. I wanted my show to do well. I wanted Front Page Tech to succeed. I didn't want to just do YouTube for YouTube. I wanted my show to reach the right people, and I wanted my audience to really connect and resonate with it. That's why, like how you say, like, oh, I listen to the audience. That's something that I do intentionally because I don't take it just for me. And that's even why, like when we started to get a bunch of views, and I started to not be able to keep up with the comment section, a little bit of guilt set in, and I really do appreciate that loyal community. So I made a show just for them that was just for me and them, and I really love that show. I think it's special. There's a lot of valuable information and questions that I answer in there too.
One change, tag it. Not even kidding.
Yeah, as soon as I said I don't even tag it, I saw Roberto's face go, what?
No, it's like I get why you did, and I love that the experiment worked. Now tag it because now you can escalate the reach and because it'll recommend related videos and that will matter. And because then it will grow in your community because again, you also can't trust that the subscription box and the notification squad will be enough. So
we've had that a couple times. There was a time last week where we uploaded a video. Now keep in mind, we're used to uploading so I used to do this funny thing where we would upload a video and I would be the first one to comment and I would put first in the comment section, but I would spell it PHURST. So like that just became a thing. Like we have shirts that say first and everything. It just became the community thing. So now when community people see an episode, they write first like that. Now I can't even write first. Like I'm not, by the time I hit upload and then go to the page to comment, there's 100 views. And that's insane to me. So last week we went to upload and I was filling out the tags and stuff. And then I go to the video and there's 3 views. It got 3 views in 1 hour. Just didn't get delivered to anybody. In fact, when I went on Twitter, I said, hey, did you guys get this in your sub box? They couldn't even, like they went to the channel and it wasn't even on the channel.
Wow.
We re-uploaded 3 times and then gave up and then just uploaded again the next day.
Wow.
It sucked.
It's not a perfect system.
No, definitely not.
I'm going to give you a hack. Pinned comment. Ask a question to the audience that relates to another video of yours and link that video and pin that as the top comment on your videos from now on. And that will get people to watch another video, triggers a longer session, triggers another watch, triggers the algorithm, and it's a loop. I'm not even joking. That will
Well, that's what I'm doing now.
overwhelmingly, that will help your channel. I do the opposite of that. I usually link out to something outside of YouTube that I want to extract value from, usually monetarily or sponsored or this or that. But that's a good business play for me. It's not healthy for the channel, but this will grow your channel exponentially.
Well, that's what I'm starting to learn too, is like, so I pitch the value of my channel to brands all the time, but now I'm starting to see the value for myself, where like I plug my own stuff, like how that's extremely valuable. Just a pinned comment on one of the shows, that's a lot of people seeing that. So like that makes total sense.
Everybody, for the amount of comments you get, every single one of those is now an opportunity for a click through, and then however many of that converts to whatever value you want to extract. And you can either leverage that for the channel's growth and health, or you could do that on X amount of these and then extract something for you as a brand yourself, or for a brand that's sponsoring. So you could do a ratio and figure out that, again, maybe it's 80-20 rule, one way or the other. I play it 80-20 more for here's where I'm going to go deeper, but get value with the audience that serves a business agenda or goal that I might have. And then 20% feed the channel. Like that's the real, like, here's a secret that I don't even think I've like actually said out loud about my 80-20 rule. 80-20 rule, energy wise, of anything that I do on the YouTube channel, 20% of that energy is the growth of the channel. 80% of the growth, 80% of it is my personal brand and my growth as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
If I reverse that, my channel would double. Like, I won't unless I reverse it for only 30 days as a hack. But
you should just double down for a month just to like.
When I have the editing, when I have someone else doing majority editing, I'll have the luxury to do that, or to even supplement to where it would be 80% of someone's effort or 100% of somebody's effort per se, because that's what that will give me the leverage for. Because here's a secret. I'm just revealing all my secrets. My plan is that in 2019, 2020, I will be known more for the Create Something Awesome Today podcast than for my YouTube channel.
Wow.
That's how big an ambitious of a brand play that's going to be. Because by that time, I also will be releasing a book that's branded according to that, because I'm already working on a different book right now for print that's going to do very well for me. But I'm going to exponentially grow the podcast because audio experiences matter. Like I was sure of it. Gary Vee reinforced that at Vid Summit, like he like overwhelmingly. And I've seen the commitment he's made to audio. Audio is passive, John. Like audio, you can listen.
Oh yeah.
Like the YouTube video, you have to lean in. But for those of you listening to the podcast, the proof is in the pudding. I was able in a shorter period of time with less effort to grow organically without even promoting this podcast through the YouTube channel. I was able to grow the audience of this podcast exponentially faster than I grew the YouTube channel in the same amount of time with half or less of the amount of commitment to it. Like, it's insanity to me that that's true. Granted, I have a larger personal brand to leverage, but I've not used really anything more than Twitter to promote the podcast, as you know. I don't even leverage my YouTube channel for my other social media. I could,
Yeah, you really don't.
but I could, and everyone says, why don't you? Because you would get X. I want organic growth that badly, and I want to have a core thesis. I refuse to use YouTube as a crutch. That's why I only put 20% of my effort into it, which sounds like a Dragon Ball Z supervillain. It's like, oh yeah, I'm holding back the lion's share of my power, but I'm dead serious because, as you know, because we discussed this and you've seen part of my process, I will spend 40 to 50 hours a month into my content, into producing my content, my YouTube channel. That's somebody's work week.
Yeah.
And actually, that's not just my YouTube content. That's actually almost all the content for my brand.
Well, that's a really good point, because like people are always like, well, I don't know if I can upload this week, or I don't know if I should do YouTube. I really want to do YouTube, but I just don't have time. Listen, if you think you don't have time now, don't get into YouTube. Like, Roberto, when's the last time you clocked out of your job? Exactly. Exactly. You don't.
No, YouTube, not just YouTube. Entrepreneurship's a full tilt commit, because the thing is, YouTube, if all I wanted to do was crank out YouTube videos, I could turn around YouTube video, like, again, I batch record. I could just be cranking out videos every day, and I could be committing like maybe 10 hours a week, 15 hours a week, and still crank out videos literally every day. If I decided to go to a 20-hour week schedule and focus on YouTube and my podcast, I could crank out a podcast episode every single day, and I could crank out 2 YouTube videos on average, Monday through Friday, if nothing else, and then still hit up the weekends. And I could still do that by myself. If I were to outsource at all, I could easily do that. I could be daily on my podcast if I outsourced all of it, and which again, I'm working on these things. I could line up interviews. I could make my interviews hardcore 20 minutes, and that's it. And I could schedule 2 days a week, knock out 5 interviews, 2 days out of my week every week, and have within a certain amount of time, the whole month of the podcast recorded, have an editing team working on that concurrently. That would not be that expensive. It'd probably literally be, on average, $20 an episode for the podcast. That's $600 a month to get a podcast out daily. That's not bad. I can monetize that through affiliate revenue easily, focus on, let's say, like Bluehost, where I can get $80, $100 per conversion to justify that. And so I'm sure every episode would convert something eventually. So I could easily cancel out the cost just on that. I could pre-sell sponsorship against that for a lot more money, even if I sold it cheaply, right? I could pre-sell sponsorship against 30 episodes of a podcast, sell half of the inventory a month, sell it for, hey, give me $300 bulk on these 15 out of the 30 episodes, right? And that's $4,500. That easily justifies the cost. $1,800 to $2,000 to produce the YouTube episodes, which means just selling against the podcast alone, I could absorb all the cost of the YouTube channel and the podcast. This is real biz dev for you guys. But again, I also have the luxury of an audience and a brand name enough to ask for that kind of price and it be a steal. So fine. So I could just do that. And in doing that alone, I don't even have to do anything but produce content anymore. I could probably, out of that budget, also pay an assistant to schedule all of my interviews. And it would only be a little bit more money to get someone to help me actually film and to follow me around a little bit or work the camera. And I literally just don't even worry about that anymore. Yeah. So the thing is, I could, between that and a copywriter, I could have a copywriter, a video editing team, and a podcast audio editing team literally do all of that and still hire a graphic designer to do infographics and a few other illustration things for me and hit this read, watch, listen strategy. And it would cost me about roughly $6,000 a month to literally do nothing but be the content machine and also manage all the SEO and all the community interaction. And it would literally only require about maybe a 15-hour or so, 20-hour or so work week on my part. I'm not even joking.
Right.
That's exactly what it would cost, more or less, probably less if I negotiate hard or I utilize some interns as leverage. And so $6,000 a month sounds like a crap ton of money. And trust me, 5 years ago to me, that was a crap ton of money. But based on what I would profit from and that I can justify it by selling sponsorship in the model that you talked about, theoretically, if I just got 2 big enough brand deals, it would cover the entire thing.
Yeah.
Let alone if I sell bulk inventory the way you're talking about, I could sell the inventory just against the podcast and make that up, let alone the YouTube.
Absolutely. So that's the crazy thing. Like, okay, for talking specifics, between Brian and I both, this is combined 4 hours a day. We spend 4 hours a day working, and that's just head down, producing a show, getting the show out. So that's the work of the day combined is 4 hours between the two of us. But then after that, you know, we still don't clock out. Like after that comes the managing thing. Like that's the talking to brands,
being in the comments, the business development.
Right. Yeah. So like it never ends. And the fact that like, and the funny thing is, this is with every girlfriend I've ever been with. One of the biggest complaints is you're always on your phone. But it's not in the same sense as like an average person would always be on their phone. Like I am this, like my social.
You're a CEO.
Yeah, the social media stuff. I'm not just posting on Twitter. Like this is my livelihood. Like this is where I'm supposed to be.
This is you checking your email for brand deals. This is you sitting there in the FameBit app. This is you, sitting there in the YouTube Creator Act, monitoring the numbers and everything like that.
Yeah, it's never ending. It's never ending. But at the same time, I love it.
Yeah.
I would do nothing else.
I agree 100%. So let's wrap up with some final thoughts. Cause again, we'll have to revisit this. We'll have to do another episode sometime, buddy. But there's so much we can get into, but what's your final thoughts to any creator out there that's trying to make it, especially in what they would call the dark times of YouTube right now? What's your advice to people who are trying to make it?
Well, first of all, thanks Roberto for this. Cause this was a great outlet for me. Cause it's just years of stuff that I've just wanted to talk about, or everyone's wondered, how does the behind the scenes of Front Page Tech work? How are they bringing in money? This is just stuff that no one thinks about, that I'm really glad to just share, especially with your audience, people that I know are going to benefit from it. And of course, my audience. Listen, if you're from my audience and you're listening, you're watching, watch Roberto Blake. You got to. If you're an entrepreneur, if you have a YouTube channel, this is the dude to follow. Follow Roberto Blake.
I appreciate that.
So advice: find your opportunity. See where there's a place for you. For us, we saw tech wasn't fun, so we wanted to make it fun. It sounds like a really simple concept, but at the time nobody was doing it. So we came in and we did it. Believe in what you do. We stuck with our vision, even though that we've had thoughts of giving up. We didn't change. We didn't make videos for YouTube. We didn't make videos for the algorithm. We made videos for you, and we made videos because they were the videos we would want to watch. Make videos that you would want to watch, because if you don't, you're going to get burnt out. You're going to hate your life when it's not working out. Don't make videos for the audience. Don't make videos for the algorithm. Make videos that you would want to watch, that are fun for you to make, because as long as you keep making them, someday the right people are going to find you, and it will change your life. It happened for me a month ago.
Boom. There you go. I love it. And again, I like doing these. It's again, that I don't like my content to become YouTube central or anything like that per se.
Yeah.
But I believe that YouTubers are unique in the fact that this is a platform that I think is welcoming to anyone who has a creative spirit, is entrepreneurial. We you can entertain, you can educate, and you can excite and inspire people. And sometimes you get to do all three sometimes. And that's amazing. Yeah.
And I don't want this to be twisted. I don't want anyone to be mistaken. This was not entirely guesswork. I started YouTube with a business model. I wasn't making YouTube videos and then I was wonder if I can make money, or how can I make money off of YouTube? I had an understanding, and I went in full force from the beginning.
Exactly. I was intentional about my YouTube channel from the beginning. The business model evolved and changed and pivoted, as did yours. But I went into it with a business-like mentality. But I also was I did videos that I would have liked to say, people were not making Photoshop in my mind. Not everyone was there yet. There were some channels that were doing it well, in my opinion.
Hotvid.
Yeah.
I saw you've talked with Nathaniel.
Oh yeah, I love Nathaniel, and I love.
That's crazy because that's one of the guys that I watched, when I was a kid in school.
Yeah, yeah. Like I mean, Nathaniel, Terry White, like Howard Pinsky. Like,
Yeah.
these are the dudes that I'm like, okay, I like that they make videos and I can actually get through those videos, feel like I learned something and it wasn't boring. It's like, can I do that? I was inspired somewhat by them. I didn't get into YouTube or making tutorials because of them. I wanted to teach what my skills and what I had learned. But like, when I saw that there are people who did that, I didn't get discouraged. I got inspired. And I was like, I can do that and I can do it different.
I sort of had that too. Like, okay, you know Chris Pirillo.
Yes. Like
I grew up watching that dude. Like, this was like,
Marquez Brownlee, like, he was mentored by Chris Pirillo.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like, if there was one guy that like I wanted to be when I got older, it was Chris Pirillo. And I watched him every single day.
I still want to be Chris Pirillo when I grow up.
For years, dude. For years and years and years and years, I watched Chris Pirillo. And then I love you, Chris. But I wanted to make tech content in the first place. He was doing a show called TLDR where we reported the news.
Yeah.
God, it was boring. It was boring. And I love Chris. And that's the only reason I watched the show. And that's where the opportunity came from. Like, I could do this. I could do this and I can make it fun for everybody.
I can do it my way.
So that's what I did. Like, there's people that love Chris that will always love Chris. I will always love Chris and always watch him. And I just saw the opportunity to take it a different route. And fast forward 2 years later, after I even had the idea, I'm working for Chris. I'm the one editing his daily videos, and I'm in his house. So like, I've made so many friends just from doing this. I mean, you're one of them. It's just the internet's amazing, and this is the best job in the world.
In a couple of weeks, I'm going to Seattle to Chris's event.
Yeah.
We're going to hang out. We're going to do dinner. I'll let you pick a place this time instead of Thai food.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Like,
I'm telling you, man, we have the best job that anyone could ever have. Like, making something out of nothing I'll never be prouder than I am of.
That's what I love and everything like that. I love that we get to take our thoughts and we get to turn them into a thing. And that's kind of the message that I want to leave people with, is like that, like, if you are, and again, I know I sometimes, like, I'm hard on creators, but that's because I want the best for them. Because the thing is, I don't think that it's intellectually honest to coddle creators. I think that creative people have a hard road.
Things are moving too quick for you to sugarcoat stuff.
It is. And so like that's why there's like, coddling creators isn't going to help. Coddling creative people isn't going to help. And I know that you feel like you're getting beat up enough, but it's like, I want you to be able to punch. That's one of
the reasons why I tried to avoid Roberto Blake.
Yeah, but I want to help you punch back. I want to help you punch back. Like, I want you in the dojo every day, getting tougher, getting stronger, getting more disciplined, getting more focused, so that you can take a punch. Because the answer is not to not take punches. The answer is to take that punch like Vegeta style to the face and be like, nope.
Nope.
like nope. Like, I mean, I don't know who in here is like a Dragon Ball Z fan or anything like that, but it's that moment when Beerus the Destroyer shows up, like, tries to deck you, thinks he's gonna one punch man you, and then you're like, he's on your cheek and you're like, nope. And then you fight back. And that's the thing, man. Just being able to put something out every day, knowing that thing doesn't exist without me and my work behind it, is the best feeling. Exactly. And that's what you have to wake up every day. And that's what I say, create something awesome today. That's why I mean it. That's why it means every day, bro. Like, that's why that matters. It's like, one of the last things and everything like that. And again, I bring them up a lot because I think it makes a point. Like, you talked about growing up watching Chris Pirillo. You and I are not the demographic for people to watch like Jake Paul. Besides, I'm more of a David Dobrik fan anyway. Sorry, Jake. But But the thing is, I'm excited for Jake Paul to grow up, because all of the people who watched him and grew up on him, when he grows up and shows you all what a real businessman he is, guess what? Those people who grew up watching him are going to want to create. And then they're going to do it. They're going to do it.
People are just seeing the front end of Jake Paul. They think it's all guesswork and like he doesn't deserve all the success. The dude knows what he's doing.
I've always said so and everything like that. It's why I feel comfortable when I make like jokes at him, because I've always said like he's the guy. Like watch what happens in 2 or 3 years. Watch what happens. Like because it's gonna blow people's minds. But I see it coming. I'm gonna be historically correct on this. Like maybe I should get him on the show. I don't know. I don't know if I can pull it off. We'll see. But like. Because here's the thing, like you're inspiring me to like want to do a show where I get behind the scenes of the business of YouTube a little bit. It won't take over the Create Something Awesome Today podcast, but I'll talk about whatever. I'll get behind the business of photography. I'll get the business of actual filmmakers.
Well, that's the thing. Like that's where you fit in. Yeah. Roberto Blake fits into every creative aspect. That's like it.
Where everyone wants to niche down, I'm just going to go there.
Yeah, I have a tech channel. It's not what you do, but there's a whole side that directly relates to what Roberto does. And that's true across the board.
There's everybody who wants to be in entrepreneurship, social media, and business has to understand what tech and tools are going to help them do that. And that's the perspective that I come in. That's where your channels help the average consumer wrap their head around all this stuff. I help people put into the context of like, this is why this is a good investment for your business. This is why this is going to help you grow and build a business. This is why this is going to help you build your personal brand. This is what's going to help you build content. This is why despite all my complaints, I can justify a $3,000 purchase, and maybe you can too if you do it this way or if you use it for these things. The convenience and speed of the ecosystem, the workflow that I get for social media, the fact that from the cameras I have that have Wi-Fi to be able to get this immediately from that camera to these devices that share a cloud ecosystem more easily. The fact that I can put stuff into Apple Notes and have it show up on my laptop later so that when I'm on the road and then when I get back to the hotel room, I can work from those notes and have it in there. I cannot escape the convenience of that immediacy and that speed, because speed, as you know, John, has been one of my, like, if I have 5 pillars of overwhelming advantage, and speed is at the forefront of that. Something I'll have to make a video or an article or something about is
you are one of the most efficient people, for sure.
I just told you the practicality of how I'm going to leverage like throwing money at taking myself and making myself a content farm. It's essentially the Gary Vee strategy, to be honest. I just figured out how to actually implement it.
Yeah.
Like for someone who doesn't have the payroll to have 16 people, I figured out how I can do
That's what I really love about Front Page Tech is like, it's so scalable. Like we work really hard. Yeah. But just because we work hard now doesn't mean we're making the ceiling. Like we're just, as long as we keep growing, as long as we keep producing, the value of the show goes up every time. That's the beautiful thing. Like I'm going to work 4 hours a day, 4 hours a day from here on out, and I'm still going to make more money. I'm going
to close the show with giving you biz dev advice real quick.
Do it.
Like, so let's talk about scale. Let's talk about scale. What I would love to see happen is for you guys to slowly integrate another editor and have someone who can replicate the current style, and that find the right fit, find someone who fits you guys' humor, but toy with that. Even if it's once a week to start, just to get the X amount of time of that a little bit back, because that time can then be reallocated to more business development, to getting more deals, which directly impacts revenue. As long as your apprentice or intern editor grows and you're putting a little bit of money in their pocket, then if they grow and they grow into getting comfortable with this and they can start to half and half it with your partner, then guess what? Boom, like you guys immediately scale, because now that time is allocated to even more business development and more deals.
Right.
Okay. And then if eventually they're able to take over, guess what? Someone now is on full-time business development and deals. And then you can bring on another person to help with business development and deals. And
it's entirely scalable.
And so that but I would say you need to look at doing that before end of year, to start that process before end of year, and it's one or the other. Either bring someone on, because maybe the more comfortable thing is to bring someone to help with biz dev deals before you bring someone on to help with editing.
I would love to bring someone on because like I said, I'm not entirely guessing, but I don't think I'm good at it. I would love to have someone that actually knows what they're doing, that is good at it, come in with biz dev.
Yeah. And part of that is like, give them a cut on whatever the deal is. Usually the best people work that way, and that's how you'll weed people out who are looking for a cushy salary job.
Yep.
Like, so go hardcore. And here's the thing, go to your community because they know the brand. The best advice I can give you hire directly out of your community for anything that you want to outsource. Hire people out of your community because they respect the brand, they love the brand, they know your values, they know your content better than anybody, and they won't be doing guesswork because they are also the audience, and so they'll believe in it. So you go to an audience of true believers and magic happens. So it was when you hire.
Solid.
So yeah, so that's like literally, and for also many of you out there who are watching or listening, I say that if you're in a position where you think you can grow something, go directly to your community. That's where I'm going.
You've done now. Now everyone in my audience is going to be like, "Hey, John, you hiring?"
But that's a good thing, and it's another interesting conversation to have. And guess what? That means they have to re-up on watching the content and being invested. So like that matters because if you're going to drill them and you're going to quiz them on your brand,
yeah,
that's going to weed people out. And if they know that, if they're watching or listening, if they got this far, then guess what? Like, and by the way, if you got this far into the show or the podcast, tweet at both of us, #first, spelled with a PHURS. Like, yeah. So like, that's like, yeah, I'm going to test people. See, like this is hacks. I'm teaching you the ways of the force. So that's it, guys, for today's show. Just thank you so much, John, for being here. Tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on Front Page Tech. Just Google it, Front Page Tech. You can Google my name, John Prosser. Of course, we'll probably have links. And if you're from my audience, if you're in my audience, follow Roberto. I'm telling you right now, if you don't follow Roberto, you and I aren't friends anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, no, thank you, John. And it's always good to have a friend on the show. Thanks
for giving me an outlet to just spew words.
Dude, you're coming back. We'll narrow it down to shorter segments for the sake of the audience.
Right before this, he was like, "Hey, do you have 30 minutes to jump on a podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah." How long has it been now?
I don't know. How long have we been going? Like,
I don't know.
Maybe an hour and a half. An hour and a half, like long. Editing this is going to be easy, right? No, actually, the good thing is I have nothing to edit except to do a wrapper around this for the video going up on YouTube. And for the audio, it's literally just stripping out the audio and adding my background loop to it. And that's it. So maybe doing something with the audio levels to balance those out because, you know, I did watch your tutorial.
Hey, Adobe shared that.
Yeah, they did. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the show. Thank you for enduring how long it's been. I love having special guests. I love having awesome creator of the day on the show. Everything that we discussed will be in the show notes for you. This has been a lot of fun. Guys, you can still make it on YouTube. It's not game over. You can still make it in this world of digital. It doesn't matter how saturated it is. It's an opportunity to disrupt because saturation is also sameness. There might be a Creative Thoughts video coming out about that soon. So you'll want to subscribe. And
a lot coming out of this.
But yeah, like, no, this is why I also do this. This is my hacks. I get ideas. Anyway, guys, remember, go out there, create something awesome today. Take care.